All right, so been studying more this version of the Book of Two Ways, and so that's the whole last thing, yeah. So basically, B5C. Oh wait, is that a B? I think that's a B5C. So it's one of the later versions, as opposed to these earlier versions. And it's one of only two fully illustrated ones that I've seen. I think. Maybe I've seen another one. But there's lots of books of two ways. And I've seen a lot of them. And this one and one other one are the only one I've seen that actually show the gatekeepers, actually illustrate the gatekeepers, on here. The other ones just write their names in wherever they are located. So anyway, these are like maps of the world, like cosmographies, geographies. So this is America here. Like in the standard earlier version, this is America from a bird's eye view, and then, this is like East Coast and West Coast. But in this later version, they flip it. So the East Coast is, or no, the West. Yeah. So the East Coast is still on the bottom and the West Coast is on the top. But the difference is that right is south and left is north, whereas it's the opposite on the other one. So this is what America would look like from underneath. I mean, not really like this, but this is a map of America from underneath. So it's kind of flipped like the original Hieropolitan 5,500-year-old one. So anyway, I've just been deciphering what all the gatekeepers are, because they are all islands and peninsulas and stuff like that. So like this one here is Baffin Island, and this here is, not sure what the hell that is. I mean, maybe there's a chance it's supposed to be Newfoundland, but I would think Newfoundland, yeah, maybe that's Newfoundland. I don't know. Anyway, this one's harder to figure out than the other version of General Seppi. General Seppi's map is like really easily comprehensible compared to most of the others. But anyway, so I've been trying to decipher these because these are the Afro-Eurasian gatekeepers, which are, islands and peninsulas along the coastline of Afro-Eurasia that impede coastal sailing. And so I did my last video, or last few videos are about that, like showing all. I seem to have figured out, I hope I figured out the East Coast ones of Afro-Eurasia, like the East Asian ones, including Siberia, which is like, Kamchatka and its islands, and then Japan and Sakhalin, and Korea, and this peninsula, I forget what it's called, and Indochina and its peninsula. But some of the others further down were a little more confusing. I think this one, is likely to be likely to be the Horn of Africa here, the beak of the bird, and then the smaller animal is probably the coast of Arabia. So, you know, that's these guys here. So it's like this bird's beak would be that pointy part of the horn, like basically like Djibouti or something, whatever's there. Or is that Djibouti? Let me see. Yeah. No, no, no. No, I think Djibouti's right here. This is gotta be Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea. I think this is Eritrea. Anyway. So that would make sense to be a beak. But I'm really not sure about that one, what that is. But for the other one, the other ones there, well, this as well, I have no idea what that is. It's like some kind of peninsula. Yeah, some kind of peninsula. But I'm not really sure which one. Like, I wouldn't say it looks like Italy. I don't know. I mean, theoretically, I would think that it would be somewhere in Africa, but I don't know of any peninsula like that in Africa. Then you get to these ones. These might be the Canary Islands. But this one I'm really not sure of. Like, I was kind of thinking maybe it would be the bull could be Madagascar, but that wouldn't explain this shape here. So again, not really sure about that. But I'm thinking I've figured out what some of these are. Like, you know, I basically already laid it out in like the previous videos, but I got like some better imagery to explain it. Like, basically it seems to be that you know, these two are the Pillars of Hercules. So it's the Rock of Gibraltar and the peninsula of you know, Almina, basically Almina Peninsula in Morocco, and then the Rock of Gibraltar directly across the Strait of Gibraltar from each other. This is some stuff I'm doing for the local freedom group. I gotta go on a vision quest to come up with our vision statement. But so yeah, here we are. Get this out of the way. So this, you know, these are generally made with like east is generally down and west is generally up in every Book of Two Ways map. So, I mean, it's kind of redundant because every Book of Two Ways is a map. But so this would have to be, you know, it would be equivalent of that. So these are the Pillars of Hercules that guard the entrance to the Mediterranean. Like, you know, they're right here. They're right here at the mouth where the Mediterranean where it meets the Atlantic. and so, you know, it helps, these both help to block some of the, you know, ocean currents from at least a little bit. I mean, most of the work blocking the currents is done just by the western coasts, you know, of Morocco and Spain, but these are kind of on the inside. So, you know, the Atlantic's up here, Spain is here, Morocco's here. This is the Rock of Gibraltar. This is Almina Peninsula. There's a city that occupies this whole area called like Ceuta or Ceuta or something like that. That's a Spanish city, you know, like the Spaniards basically colonized Morocco and they never left. So there's still a Spanish city. And it's interesting, like when you Google like the Strait of Gibraltar, you get a bunch of things claiming that that, you know, they always claim that the Pillars of, not the Pillars of Hercules. Like if you Google the Pillars of Hercules, they will tell you that they're mountains, and that one of the mountains is the Rock of Gibraltar, which does kind of, you know, go up a bit. It's not super tall. It's really not for a Spanish mountain. There's like much taller mountains like right here or right here or something. But supposedly they say that that mountain is the one Pillar of Hercules, and the other Pillar of Hercules is either a mountain in here in the Almina Peninsula, or it's a mountain somewhere over here that's even taller, maybe here or something. So to me, this seems ridiculous, because I don't think there's an indication that from early sources that that they are mountains. I think the Pillars of Hercules are peninsula, you know, peninsulae. These two peninsulas, you know, because like if they were the Pillars of Atlas, then they would be mountains, and they are mountains. Those are the Atlas Mountains up here. But not the Pillars of Hercules necessarily. There's no reason they have to be vertical. They can be, you know, be horizontal. Lots of things, lots of islands and peninsulas are named after their shape, regardless, even if they're, you know, whether it's vertical or horizontal, it doesn't matter. So these are named, like first it seems that this guy is Britain, and, you know, as I said in the previous video that one person watched, or no, I think 3 people watched it actually. So, but so it was the south. I actually, in that video I was watching it, and I kept saying that this was the southeastern corner, but this is clearly the southwestern corner of Britain, and that might be the pointy butt of this gatekeeper, you know, even though he's faced the other way. But that's standard in this system. A lot of times they'll have the correct shape, but it's not necessarily faced the way that it's actually faced. Sometimes it's faced the opposite way. Like Newfoundland is shown that way in Seppi's map. And I think these are all facing this way because it's assuming, seems to be assuming westward sailing, so that these would be facing the sailor as he's going. Um, so anyway, like, and that, yeah, that would be Britain. You know, that would be Britain here, Britain is this kind of long, skinny, tall thing with a weird pointy butt. And he's referred to in here as the gray-haired one. And that makes sense because Britain famously has white coastlines, you know, like the white cliffs of Dover and everything. So that could be like gray hair, white hair, might be the same word in ancient Egyptian. And then all these islands are just all the little islands inside, you know, like Shetland and Orkney and Isle of Man and Rathlin and all these islands through here. So there's just like a bunch of them. So it just shows a bunch of random shapes because they knew was too much of a hassle to actually map out every single island there. But so then for that to be the next one, it makes sense because since the gatekeepers tend to be whatever's blocking the coast, like Britain kind of does block the coast. And if you're just sailing along the coast, then you can get caught up in Britain and you can confuse what the coast is. You can think, oh, is this the mainland or where do I go? So that's how, you know, these maps helped mariners. And so it's natural that the next one, and this is basically the extent, you know, maybe I'm not sure if they really went all through here or not. I mean, you could definitely argue all these could be similar things, but this might have been like basically the end of the map for them. And at least as far as gatekeepers go. And so it would be natural that the next one over would be the Pillars of Hercules, because this is an obvious thing that kind of guards the coastline, and you know, it's the most famous coastal guardians in history, the Pillars of Hercules. So so yeah, that this would be this I don't know. So yeah, this would be that, and this would be that. And even shape-wise, it kind of seems to match in the sense that this one's more just kind of curly and pointy, and then this one has this knob on here which may refer to this kind of bulbous part right here. Although you could argue there's one there as well. But anyway, so that's a good match. And I mean, it's not like they didn't do the perfect. And who knows, maybe this is the head. I mean, maybe this is like this kind of knob on the end of it. And then maybe this face here is actually the Rock of Gibraltar here. And then this is just his tail attaching to the mainland. Who knows, one or the other. But the text for that also basically tends to confirm or support this because what is this here? So that they're 1144. Okay, this is Gibraltar, the one that seems to be the Rock of Gibraltar. Sharp of anger, and is kind of pointy. Revealer, guardian. Okay. Painful of rage. So it is a guardian, you know, it kind of guards the Mediterranean from like the Atlantic. And then Yeah, and then 43 is Almina Peninsula, and it's called Repel the Terrible Ones from the Earth Gods. Protect the Great One. So the Great One is probably Osiris, who seems to be Afro-Eurasia in its entirety, based on these books of two ways, which refer to Osiris as being made of earth and surrounded by water and associated with Egypt and whatnot. So repel the terrible ones from the earth gods, protect the Great One, probably Osiris, part the two warriors in 603 storms. So, repel the terrible ones from the earth god. So anyway, to me, this is all very supportive of these being the Pillars of Hercules. Not sure. I guess that's the end of this one. I was thinking it was more specific about. I was thinking the two warriors maybe were the two guardians, but part the two warriors in 603 storms, I think refers to Seth and Horus. So Seth being the storm god, who especially rules in the ocean, and Horus being something else. I'm not sure what. Maybe Horus became Afro-Eurasia since Horus was supposed to have taken over for Osiris. I don't know. So, and then this this guy here, I think he may be Greece, basically. You see what he's called in here. Like 42. So that's right here. So anyway, I don't know if this phone is so terrible, but I can read it to you anyway. She whose name was presented in the midst of her fire. They, the miserable ones, guard his house and her something. Beware, O earth gods, of the boat. Stand. Protect Re, Atum, Nun, Old One, Shu, Iku, Nemu, and Hetep. The woman has opposed the sick one. Anyway, so if you come opposing me, then the terrible one will be expelled from the earth god and the sharp one from the aggressor until I retreat, going and coming. So I'm not exactly sure, but I'm leaning, or the only hypothesis I have so far, which, is thoroughly plausible, is that it's Greece. Because here's Greece is like I think a big chunk of Greece is basically like a separate island. I'm not exactly sure, but I think there's either a separate island or somewhat distinct. Yeah, this map sucks. It doesn't have good, or at least this photo of it. But so I forgot the name of that island there, but I think it's like a big island. Yeah, anyway. That'll be further research, but that would fit more or less for or possibly, you know, fit for this, because it would be, maybe this would be that island. This would be like the end of this somehow if it is separate. I don't know, I gotta look into this. And then this would be the mainland here. And then this pointy part would be this part that connects to Greece. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty iffy. So yeah, maybe something else. Like ideally it would be something where this would be east, like east would be down, west would be up. So yeah, who knows? Who knows what the hell this is? I'll keep, should be in this vicinity though, like somewhere either inside the Mediterranean or along coastal West Africa. All right, I guess I'll leave it at that. But you know, I think at least probably Britain and its little isles and the Pillar of Hercules, Gibraltar and Almina seem pretty damn of a good fit. So I'm at least a good like 60% with that. And then this one, I gotta figure out what in the F it is. All right, I'll leave it at that. I don't know if anybody will see this. My last video got 1 view, but I'll, you know, I don't know, doing these partly for myself just to save this information, and you know, I can pretend that there's people listening to me and that I'm not just a person alone in my house with no friends that doesn't have anybody to talk archaeology to. All right. Anyway, take care, everybody, and have a good one.